Welcome to another episode of the Chokeslam Wrestling Report. I am your host, the infamous Ultimate One from New York City, and today we are here to talk about the Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor that I will be doing reviews on it. It was very quick, nothing that's going to take 40-50 minutes. I'm just going to give you my thoughts and my feedback on this. As you guys well know that last night, to me, and I'm going to say it right here and then that the Supercard of Honor was my WrestleMania as of last night, because this is professional wrestling. If you guys have not seen Supercard of Honor and whatnot, I would advise you to order it on Fight TV. It's not expensive. It's $30, and it's worth the price. Okay, last night Ring of Honor Supercard was tremendous in my opinion. Most of you may not agree to it, but I figured, you know what, let me get on here on YouTube and pretty much give you my feedback on this, because I know a lot of people and a lot of podcasters are all focused on WrestleMania. And I'm not going to come here and try to bash WrestleMania. If that's what you like, hey, more power to you, but I am not going to be covering no WrestleMania. I choose not to watch WrestleMania. Maybe a one match tonight and another match tomorrow night. But WrestleMania is not something I want to talk about, because it's not, to me, professional wrestling. As you guys well know, if you saw that, or well, you know that Tony Khan bought Ring of Honor in March, and pretty much I think it was St. Patrick's Day when he announced that, and pretty much Tony Khan saved professional wrestling, because before Ring of Honor was bought, you only had the NWA, which I'm not too crazy about the NWA, because the NWA, yes, you got Matt Cardona as the champion, but they still not leveling up at all. You got Major League Wrestling, who right now they're doing some underground stuff. One minute they have a good show, the next minute they're in Mexico doing Lucha Underground type of wrestling match, and I'm not too crazy about that either. So MLW, for me, little by little, I have lost interest, because it's not the same like it used to. AEW is getting pretty much bringing in all these people, and is getting interested every week. They're slow building the storylines for the next pay-per-view coming up, which is Double or Nothing. But with Ring of Honor back in the fold, thanks to Tony Khan again, we got to watch last night a beautiful, and I'm going to say a beautiful pay-per-view. And, of course, they started off the show pretty much. You know how AEW has the buy-in? Well, this was called the Supercard of Honor 0 Hour. And the first match of the night was Colt Cabana versus Blake Christian. This was a decent match. Colt and Blake opened the 0 Hour show with a banger, as Colt dominated most of this match. He did dominate the match. So Blake Christian, he's been in the independent scene killing it. The guy, I think he flew from a balcony, I think in the Game Changer Wrestling event. And Blake Christian, who WWE picked up, I believe a year and a half ago, and brought him to NXT, let him go. That's a waste of talent. You're not picking up this guy. But the match between him and Colt Cabana, like I said, to open up the 0 Hour, this was a pretty decent match, but Colt Cabana dominated the match. And, of course, Blake Christian amazed the fans with his moves, but it was not enough for Blake Christian to beat Colt Cabana, as Colt Cabana hit his finishing move, the Chi-Town Skyline, finishing move on Blake for the win. So that was a good win for Colt Cabana. It's like a homecoming since Colt Cabana, as of late, he's part of the Dark Order. I don't really see him wrestle, since I don't watch Dark or Elevation, so I really didn't know. Then they had a females match, women's match between Miranda Alice versus AKA. Miranda Alice, I am familiar with her because she was the one who lasted in the finals with Roxy for the women's Ring of Honor Women's Championship. And, of course, AKA, I know her because I saw her wrestle. I don't remember who she wrestled in AEW, but she is trained by Booker T. And In AEW, I feel like she wasn't given the opportunity to show more of her moves and whatnot. But in this match with her and Miranda, pretty much she showed a lot of her moves. She was doing fine until Miranda at least got frustrated and used AKA's hair when she sat her down in the middle of the rope and just slammed her head backwards to the mat. And at one point, you saw, I think, Elise kind of botched the move when she tried to do a low Hurricanrana, which, I mean, it wasn't great at all, but it wasn't executed right. And this match was AKA, I think AKA's coming out match, in my opinion. She showed heart and with a beautiful shooting star from the top rope to win the match. So AKA gets to win the match. Eli Isom and Cheeseburger teamed up. But the biggest surprise in this tag team match was when Tully Blanchard popped out. And I was like, what the hell Tully Blanchard is doing here? So Tully Blanchard now is in Ring of Honor, and he has I believe, a faction called Tully Blanchard Enterprises. So he brought in two big guys, one named Khan, which he used to be tag team partner with Shane Taylor for the 6-man tag teams, and a guy called, if I got it correct, Toa Iana, or Lana, whatever his name is. They are known as Gates of Agony. And they went in that ring and they showed their strength, their power, they overpower Cheeseburger, of course. Even though Cheeseburger was trying to do certain things and there little bodges here and there, but they dominated this match and they won the match. They overpowered their opponents, and they ended up beating Cheeseburger and Isom. But the biggest crazy to me that was crazy was when Tully Blanchard said, well, this is not the only two guys I have. I have another one tonight. You will see him. So that left me intrigued to see who was the next guy who's going to join Tully Blanchard's team. Joe Hendry versus Dalton Castle. I wasn't really into this match because I've seen these guys wrestle thousands of times before Ring of Honor went on hiatus. So this is a kind of a feud that's been going back and forth. They were a little off as far as wrestling each other, the chemistry. Joe Hendry looked much bigger than I seen him when I first saw him in Ring of Honor. He put 30 pounds, he weighed like 250 now. So it was a back and forth match. Joe Hendry was kind of a little overpowering Dalton Castle, but Castle overcame that and he ended up winning the match. So right there, you already see a couple of stuff going on, a little surprise. You see Tully Blanchard in there, and I'm like, wow, And then the lighting of the event was much brighter than you will see a Ring of Honor event. A lot of the Ring of Honor's pay-per-views or the house shows, they look dark, they look eerie on TV. I know when I gone to the matches live, I used to go a lot to the Hammerstein Ballroom, and they used to have like Manhattan Mayhem or the Best in the World and stuff like that. They you see the difference when you live and then when you see it in TV, it looks dark. So it looked nice. It looked like an actual wrestling show. So you could tell Tony Khan's money on that one. So when the show started, they had Swerve Strickland, who's becoming one of my favorites in AEW, and he's been everywhere. Besides AEW, he wrestled Jay White at New Japan Strong. So he was in this match against Alex Zane, another guy that I saw him wrestle in Ring of Honor a couple of years ago. He competed in New Japan Strong. I believe he did the Lions Cup, if I'm so correct. But then all of a sudden, WWE went and grabbed him to put on NXT. He didn't last long in there. He was one of the guys that they let go and whatnot. They didn't want no indie guys. So this match was pretty good. Two guys who never wrestled each other before. But you couldn't fool me because their chemistry was on the money. This match was very competitive with Swerve in trouble at one point where I believe I'm correct. I think Alex Zane did a suplex on him outside. He landed on his neck. So it looked like Swerve was in trouble with his neck hurting. But Swerve came back, hit a flatliner, and then the Swerve stomp but Strickland got out on the 2 count. But it was Swerve who came out of nowhere and hit his JML finishing move for the win. This was a great match to open up the card, the pay-per-view itself. So you had 2 guys, high-flying, who never wrestled each other, had a great chemistry. There was nothing that I could say, oh, he messed up on this and he did this and that. It was beautiful chemistry between these 2. You could tell these guys study each other and they actually wrestle each other. So it's pretty good. Then we had the surprise, the second surprise that Tully Blanchard had. In this match, they had Ninja Mac. I never seen Ninja Mac. I was even asking myself when I saw him that a Ninja Mac appearance. I'm like, who the hell is this Ninja Mac? I don't know. As soon as I saw him, I was like, okay, this guy's another cheeseburger who probably is a guy who probably jobs to the bigger talent. And so Tully Blanchard came out. And Tully Blanchard announced his second client for the Tully Blanchard Enterprise. And Lord and behold, it was Brian Cage. Yes, that Brian Cage, the machine Brian Cage. He went, and I was surprised. I was like, you know what? This is a good move as far as, Brian Cage being in Ring of Honor, because now you see maybe they don't have anything for him in AEW, but now he's in Ring of Honor. They could use him to do something. And he has Tully Blanchard as his manager, which is a perfect fit because, this guy was a former Impact World Champion. He came to AEW. He dominated. He got into a feud with Darby Allin. He had a match with Jon Moxley. And after he lost to Jon Moxley, he just went nowhere. He was in tag teams. He had that crazy cinematic match with it was Starks and him versus Sting and Darby Allin. I think it was a double nothing 2 years ago or a year ago, whenever it was. And he wasn't doing that much. And then they had him feuding with with Ricky Starks for the FTW belt, a belt that really don't really matter anything in AEW. But so what happens here is now he's in a good spot. He beat up Ninja Mac. He dominated this man. Because Mac tried to catch him off guard before the match started, and he got caught. Mid-air, he got caught. And whatnot. So, Cage just dominated this match. So now he has those 2 guys. The, the Agony, Gates of Agony. The Gates of Agony, and now they have Brian Cage as part of that group with Tully Blanchard. Then we had the Jay Lethal versus Lee Moriarty. This match was great because it was like the way they were announcing it was a young Jay Lethal against a young self of him. Lee Moriarty has gotten better and better every time I see him. And the first time I ever saw Lee Moriarty was in MLW Battle Riot. I wasn't familiar with him, I was impressed with what he did. And when he landed AEW, see him wrestle Seidel, Dante Martin, and I saw him wrestle Jay Lethal not long ago. So this match was different because you could tell that Lee Moriarty was very, very, he was confident, and he was taking it to Jay Lethal. And during the whole match, it was a pretty good back and forth until Jay Lethal decided to hit Moriarty with a low blow while the referee was busy with Matt Seidel, who accompanied Lee Moriarty, and he low blow Moriarty, and you could tell right there that the heel turn was coming because in the last couple of weeks, Lethal has lost to Moxley, he has lost to a couple of other guys, and you could tell that he was going to turn heel. You could see it, but I didn't expect him to turn heel at Ring of Honor, being that he is the franchise player, like he called himself. So, but at least this is something that they could bring over AEW as storylines and whatever, and then the next pay per view come up, they could set it up that way. It'll be cool. But yeah, he not only that, after the match, Seidel confronted him because Seidel, I believe he's injured. He was on crutches, and Lethal ended up attacking him. In the crowd was Sanjay Dutt, a friend of Lethal for 20 years, whatever. And he came in, he was telling Lethal, what are you doing and whatnot, and they left. So they left it like that. Then we have the interim Ring of Honor Women's World Title match, which had Willow versus Mercedes Martinez. And this is pretty good because what happened was that I think they had the multiverse. Impact has the multiverse, so Deonna Purrazzo was gonna be challenged for the women's title. She's doing that, which side of the AAA or the. So she could not make it to, Ring of Honor Supercard. And Tony Khan felt like, no, it's not a good idea. She put her wrestle twice. No, she's on the Impact contract. So, and AEW and Impact are not working together supposedly. But now, since Tony Khan bought Ring of Honor, so Impact has no choice but to work with Tony Khan, being that Tony Khan owns Ring of Honor, and the women's champion is Deonna Purrazzo. So they had an interim women's title match. Whoever wins this becomes the interim women's world champion. This match was a hell of a match between these two women. Willow, I seen her plenty of time. I saw her live not long ago, I think last month, when I went to House of Glory. So she is good as hell. This was a good match between both of them. It looked like Martinez got hurt when Willow went and hit a moonsault from the top rope, and I don't know if Willow landed kind of hard on her stomach or something, but you could tell that Martinez was in real bad pain. But Martinez ended up coming out of that. She put a Dragon Sleeper to beat Willow and become the interim Ring of Honor World Champion. So now, do not be surprised if Martinez shows up at Impact sometime next week or during the week and takes the belt from Deonna Purrazzo, because this is a problem. So now you got to have a Ring of Honor World Champion. So Purrazzo being the champion, I think Impact figured, like, let's put the belt on her. And even though Roxy was already leaving to WWE, so they had to do what they had to do. So I mean, I'm sure there's probably some back work behind the scenes that we as podcasters, as dirt sheets and all that don't know about, that things working behind the scenes. Who knows? We all know that Deonna Purrazzo has said she would like to work with AEW. So I mean, that's a sign right there. And if she still could keep the Reign champion, because AEW works with AAA. So right now, professional wrestling is a great spot to be at. And if you're a professional wrestling fan, it's a good time to be a professional wrestling fan, because it's fun. It's fun. There's a lot of things going on. Now, the match of the night, which I think will be tag team match of the year if they don't win match of the year, was FTR versus FTR, the AAA tag team champions, versus the Ring of Honor tag team champions, the Game Changer Wrestling tag team champion, the House of Glory tag team champions, the Briscoes. So this match was sick. Okay, I will say this is match of the year, tag team match of the year. My boy Jay Santee from Turnbuckle Tabloid had told me this is the best match I have seen in 20 years. I mean, that's a lot, 20 years. We could go 20 years of tag team wrestling. This match, he was right. This match was one of those matches where it has you jumping. And I was going for FTR because, I believe FTR is the best tag team because they old school. They remind me of Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson. I've been saying that since I first started doing this podcast. This was a great match. This was everything that you expected. 4 months of them going back and forth on Twitter, talking crap, talking about each other, and it lived up to the hype. It lived up to everything. The match, the blood, everything you can imagine. It was some crazy stuff going on in this match. And at the end, FTR ended up winning, hitting the big rig and winning the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championship from the Briscoe. What's interesting was the Briscoe brought in the old school Ring of Honor Tag Team titles. I don't know what happened to the new ones or the more updated ones, but it was cool to see that FTR called the AAA Tag Team Champions. Now they got double championship. The thing that I know my boy Jay doesn't like the Young Bucks because they kind of ruined it for the FTR as far as the back and forth after the match. They respected each other, whatever, they shook hands. The Young Bucks came in there and they hit their lead trigger on the Briscoe on Jay. And now there's a challenge for this Wednesday coming up in AEW Dynamite, the Ring of Honor, and the AAA Tag Team titles will be on the line. So that's going to be interesting. But I think at the same time, it's cool because I think I could see on the next pay-per-view, whatever might be best in the world, you could see a triple threat match between the Briscoes, the Young Bucks, and FTR being signed for best in the world if they're still going through with the whole thing that Ring of Honor used to do back in the days, because now remember it's run by Tony Khan, so everything is different. But this FTR versus Briscoe lived up to the hype. There's nothing else to say. I mean, if I tell you match after match, everything that happened, there was 35 minutes of tag team wrestling. You have not seen that type of tag team match like that in a long time, unless you're in Japan. New Japan has matches like that there where, how you call it, where they have 35-minute tag team matches. If it's a world title match, if the IWGP tag team belts on the line, yes, you'll see something like that. But it was great. Then they had the Ring of Honor television title match, which it was a shocker. A shocker because I didn't expect the person who came in to challenge Red Titus, it was the last minute thing, was Minoru Suzuki. I figured, well, Minoru Suzuki, he's in the States, so he went to challenge Red Titus. And I figured, well, Ring of Honor is not going to give the belt to Minoru Suzuki. Well, that's not what happened. Titus went, and the biggest mistake he made, he slapped Minoru Suzuki, and that was the worst thing you could do. That's like waking up a sleeping giant. Minoru Suzuki started putting it on him, and this was a good match, but Suzuki ended up hitting Red Titus with the Gotch power driver. I say Guile, I don't know why. Kyle Gotch power driver, and beat Red Titus for the Ring of Honor TV world title. I mean, this is his first title that he won in the United States in this man's illustrious career. He has won every freaking belt in Japan, so except the world title. So now he is the Ring of Honor television title champion. So it's good for wrestling. I mean, and that's why everything, it looks like the foundation, with the exception of one, didn't win their matches. So then we have Ring of Honor Pure title match, which was mostly this. I liked. Many people may not like the Pure matches because you're going to have 3 rope breaks. You can't punch the guy. If you punch the guy twice, you get disqualified. They'll give you a warning the first time. Submission after you grab the rope 3 times. Even if you get caught in a submission, you can hold the ropes all day you want, but there's no break. So this was interesting between Wheeler Yuta and Josh Woods, who was the champion. They were mentioning that William Regal was gonna be at the announcing, commentating, but that did not happen. Just giving you a heads up, that did not happen. But Wheeler Yuta wins the Ring of Honor Pure title, which kind of surprised me because it was a good technical skill match between both of them. Josh Woods, I think he took him lightly, but Yuta, at one point, Josh Wood caught Yuta coming off the top rope and caught him flesh in his jaw with a knee shot. I mean, it was amazing. But you can't be, if you like this type of wrestling pure, you will enjoy it. I enjoyed it. I liked it. Wheeler Yuta ends up beating Josh Woods for the Pure title, as when he caught him with a kind of a roll-up trap roll, and he pinned him like like nothing. It was just crazy. But so Wheeler Yuta, is he gonna show up at AEW with this belt to say, look, I got a title, and William Regal? We'll see. Then we had the main event was the Ring of Honor World Title Unification match between Bandito and Jonathan Gresham. This was an awesome match. At first, it started more like technical, back and forth, this and that, like usual Jonathan Gresham match. But Bandito, had more height and weight over Jonathan Gresham. But the crazy part was that Chavo Guerrero was the guy who accompany Bandito, and during a interview, Bandito told him, "Please don't cheat. I don't want to win cheating." Whatever. And Chavo Guerrero said, "Well, we're gonna do everything with any means necessary." Once he said any means necessary, Chavo Guerrero was gonna interfere, and he interfered twice. First time, he pushed Bandito out of the way from a charging Jonathan Gresham, and then the second time, Bandito threw Jonathan Gresham against the ropes, and next thing you know, he gets hit with Bandito's title belt, and Bandito saw him, and he threw out. He asked the referee to throw out the guy who accompanied him, which was, I've never seen that in wrestling, ever. At the end of the day, this match was awesome, and at the end of the day, Jonathan wins the match with a trap roll-up Mexican style to pin him, and he becomes the undisputed Ring of Honor World Champion. So now there's no problem with this. Oh, there's two world champions, blah blah blah. It's over with. Now the latest now is about Bandito. I will tell you in a minute before I finish up here. Jay Lethal interferes Gresham's speech after the match, and he kind of said, that he wanted Gresham to give him the first title shot. And Gresham said, "Well, I'm not giving you a title shot, especially what I saw at the end of the night. You attacking Seidel, and and all of a sudden, Lethal mush Jonathan Gresham, and they started tussling with each other. And here comes Sanjay Dutt. Sanjay Dutt gets in the middle. Something was telling me that Sanjay Dutt was with Lethal, and they were going to set up Gresham. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. They jumped Gresham. Lee Moriarty comes in to try to save him, and he gets taken out. And out of nowhere, a entrance music starts hitting, and out of nowhere, here comes Samoa Joe. Yes, that's Samoa Joe, and confronts Jay Lethal. Lethal kind of back off. Sanjay Dutt was pushing Lethal to get out, and all of a sudden, Sanjay Dutt gets caught by Samoa Joe in his guillotine choke, and that's the way the show ended. But this was a very, very good show. Like I said, my WrestleMania. I'm not gonna sit down this weekend and watch WrestleMania night 1 or 2 because it's not professional wrestling. And maybe a lot of people will be like, "Oh, you just hate WWE, you're an asshole," whatever they want to call me. At the end of the day, I speak facts. Okay, what we saw last night was professional wrestling. Yes, sports entertainment, professional wrestling. It's two different things, but the marquee says wrestling. So, I don't care what these sports entertainment fans feel about it, but that's on them. I know is that I like professional wrestling, and last night's Supercard of Honor was awesome. Now, I'm going to go try to check the Lone Star New Japan Pro Wrestling show, and most likely I'll be talking about that on my audio podcast tomorrow. So check that out. All the stuff that happened on the New Japan Strong Lone Star, so that's going to be interesting. But overall, where this is going to go, the only thing I'm thinking right now, Ring of Honor and the TV situation. How are they still going to deal with the Fight TV? Do they have shows already, recorded? We'll see. And the way I look at it right now, the way that Tony Khan is thinking, you got Evolution, you got Dark, you got so many people in there. You could use some of those people and add them into Ring of Honor for tryouts or whatever the case may be, and one of them might pop out, whatever. But this whole show with Supercard of Honor was awesome. I did not expect it to be this good, to be honest. And I was just looking for the FTR versus the Briscoes, and they nailed it. This is probably, that match should be Tag Team of the Year and whatnot. Tag team match of the year, actually. Or match of the year, either or. But this, last year they had the match of the year that I felt was the Young Buck versus the Lucha Bros, which was awesome in that cage match. But this topped that. So, and we only in April, so we still got a lot of ways to go. But the thing is, right now the tag team wrestling scene is not as great because a lot of those tag teams are in AEW. You know what I'm saying? So, but you could I mean, you saw the Gates of Agony, whatever they are. They look awesome. And you know, it's crazy. Is Shane Taylor going to be back to Ring of Honor? That's the question I want to know. If Shane Taylor's coming back, is he one of the guys that was upset that they weren't brought back? But we'll see. We'll see. I know Shane Taylor been putting a lot of tweets that I'm like, he's very mad at the industry. And I don't blame him. I don't blame him. This guy should have been world champion Ring of Honor a long, long time ago. But they didn't, they didn't give him that belt. They only gave him the 6-man belt. They gave him the Ring of Honor. They never gave him the world title, which I think he should have. He deserves it. But it is what it is. But that is it for me today, guys. I don't want to bore you with this, but like I said, I just needed to come in here and jump on my podcast because I didn't do anything last week. And then to top it off, everybody's concentrating on WrestleMania. A lot of podcasters are concentrating on WrestleMania, either doing previews or do watch-alongs. I don't do none of that. I don't do none of that because, it's good to conversate about stuff that happened in the past. That's the past, though. We're talking about the wrestling business now. And the wrestling business is doing very well as far as non-WWE shows. The independent scene is hot as hell. But, you know what I'm saying? Like, let those who love sports entertainment do their thing. I'm going to do my thing here. And I want to be the first one to review the Supercard of Honor. And that's what I just did. So if you want to follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, the Chokeslam Wrestling Report. You can follow my audio podcast on Apple, Spotify, Anchor, Amazon Music, and any audio podcast platforms that you guys like to listen to the shows that you love and whatnot. I also got a merchandise store. It's tcwr.veryimpressive.com. That's TCWR. veryimpressive.com. tcwr.veryimpressive.com. You get to check out there. You'll see my YouTube channel in there. You'll see my audio podcast in there, and you get to see the shirts, the hats, the hoodies that I have in there. Go check that out. Register to the website to get YouTube and audio new episodes. So you don't have to go to YouTube. You could do it right there, boom, and you get it. So that is it for me today, guys. Thank you for supporting the podcast. Hopefully, this was informative. If you guys didn't get to see Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor, you guys should get it. It's on Fight TV. It's cheap, $30. Can't go wrong. For a card, 3-hour card, that's $10 per hour. And you will not be, I'm telling you, you will not be, you will not be, how do you say that? Disappointed. That's the word I'm trying to get. I'm like lost for word right now. So you can't go wrong, especially with the FTR versus the Briscoes. If you don't see this, then you're not a real wrestling fan. That's all I gotta say. But this was awesome. So that is it for you guys today. So again, follow me on all my platforms, and I will definitely check you guys back next week with more Chokeslam Wrestling Report.